Hi, I'm going to show you how I like to make GIFs or GIFs, however you pronounce it. I'm hardly a computer expert, but this technique works for me. So I'm going to show you how I use Photoshop elements to make my GIFs and animated cartoons. So first, I'm going to go to screen share. Okay, Photoshop elements. Okay, now this is called Photoshop elements. I will assume that you know very little or nothing about this. That way anybody can get something from this video. First thing I want to do, if you can see, I'm going to come up into the right upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to click File. After I click File, I click New. You'll get Blank File. You click Blank File, and you'll get this setup right here. I like to use pixels, and I like to use a square of 700 by 700 pixels. The resolution, which is 72, is automatically set. RGB color, again, it's automatically set. I don't do anything to it. If you have a choice of backgrounds, you can have a white background. You can choose a background color. I like to use transparent. When you're finished, it'll still turn out white, but it's easier to manipulate. So this is the setup I like to use: 700 by 700, RGB color and transparent. I click OK, and you'll get this square right here. Now, if I want to make that bigger, I'll come over again to the left-hand corner under View, and you'll see a magnifying glass. Okay, and I can make this bigger, or I can come down to the bottom left-hand corner where it says Zoom, and I can click the magnifying glass minus and make it smaller. So I want it to fill this screen as much as possible. So I'm going to pick this. I'll get it to about that size right here. Okay, I like that. That's good. So now what I'm going to do now, oh, I'm sorry, another tool. I'm going to be using a pencil tool. If you can look in the middle on the left hand, you'll see that I'm clicking a pencil tool. It says pencil tool brackets N. This is my pencil tool. This is what it looks like. Okay. Now, if I want to erase something, I have two options. I can go again, to the left-hand side, you'll see an eraser tool. Okay, eraser tool bracket C. I click that, and I can erase as I want to. Or I can go down to the bottom left-hand corner, and you'll see photo bin, tool options, and then undo and redo. Undo will return to the latest action. So for example, the latest action was I erased something. So I can click that, and that erasing is gone. The action before that was I drew something. If I click that, it goes to 0 again. So that's how you use the functions. The next function I'll also want to use will be up here in the upper right-hand corner under, it says right here, create a new layer. This will give me layers. I find this is the easiest to use when creating multiple illustrations that are going to be working together. So let's start right now and create a GIF. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide what kind of GIF we want. I'm going to do a drinking GIF. It's going to be my character Spike drinking a glass of juice, and I always use three illustrations when I'm making a GIF. The first one will be Spike holding a cup. The second one will be him tilting it and the contents flowing into his mouth, and then him returning with an empty cup. Very simple. So first I will go now to my pencil tool, and I will draw Spike holding a cup. So I'm going to draw the ear. Okay. Then the circle, which makes his head. The body, I tend to do that in one stroke. The other ear, 4 pointy lines that become his hair. I'll draw his crow-like feet. I don't know why he has crow-like feet. I think it's just because they're easy to manipulate. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to draw a glass or a cup. So the cup will be right here. Draw the cup. Now I want some kind of color in there, so I know there's something in there. So I'm going to come over. Please look on the left-hand side again. You'll see this buckets. Now this buckets is how I can color an area very quickly. So I come down here, I click buckets on the left-hand side. Now I'm going to go down to the place that says color, okay? keep going down, you'll see color. I'm going to click the top. I'm going to click the top color square, which is black now. That's the default setting. And here you'll see I've got all the colors to choose from. What kind of juice do most people drink? Orange juice, maybe. So we're going to click something that looks like orange. That's the color I'm going to use. I click OK. Now I go to my pencil. And I write a line, or draw a line, excuse me, that connects dots, or that connects both sides. And then I go to my buckets tool and I click that, and now I have something that looks like juice. Please be careful with the buckets. I'm going to draw a quick circle here. If you draw a closed object and then fill it with the bucket, you'll have this situation. Unfortunately, some people, me being one of them, will make this mistake. We leave it open and then we click buckets and the whole thing does that. That's what you don't want to do. So make sure your object is closed. I now have a tool. I now have a glass of juice and Spike. I always use white to color Spike's face because that shows the facial expressions easily. I'm going to go to my buckets tool and get blue, which I use for his body, like that. And now what I do is I go back to black and my pencil tool, and I will now draw an eye, another eye, there you go, and a smile. Now I have to draw his hands and arms. So I do this, and now we have Spike holding a glass of juice. Now, this is illustration number 1. So this is going to be number 1. Now I have to draw 2 more. So what I do now, I go back to the right upper hand corner and I click this box right here. This is my layer box, and I click it and you'll see it says layer number 2. So I want to draw another illustration that is similar to this one in terms of spacing and size, but him holding the cup like this. So first I'm going to go to layer number 1. You see how it's blue. That means I'm in layer number 1 right now. I go to opacity, and I'm going to cut the opacity down to about 33%. I can still see it, but it's much lighter than it was. Now I go to layer 2 and I click that. So now I'm in layer 2. It's blue. I go to my pencil tool, and the first thing I'm going to do, where do I want the cup? I'm going to put the cup right here like this. I'm going to put his cup right here. Whoops, got an extra line there. Let's do that again. There we go. Okay, there's the cup. And now, so I know that the juice in here has got to go in his mouth. So I'm going to draw the ear and a mouth, and then the body. Copy the legs. That's not really good. Let's try that again. Copy the legs. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's pretty good. And then make the hair a little bit tilted back so it looks like he's drinking. And when I drink, I close my eyes. So you can do the single line, or if you want to, if you're really serious, you can do the squinty eye. And now I'm going to draw the hands. Okay, now I'm at the point where I think I can do this now without the other layer. So I'm going to go into layer 1 and I'm going to turn that to 0. Now the opacity is 0. We can't see anything. Okay, it's still there. Layer 1 is still here. It's still here, but I'm going to make the opacity 0 so I can't see it. Now I go back to my color chart and I pick the colors that I used before. Oops. Make sure I'm in layer 2, good layer 2. This. And I need my orange again to get some orange here. And I'm just going to pencil that in like this. You can see I'm just quickly coloring that in. Okay, and then if I want to, I can go back over with my black pen. Okay, just like this. So now I have this. So this is layer number 2. This is layer number 1. So you can see the layers are on top of each other. The layers are on top of each other. I can move the layers too if I want to. Okay, now, so I've got the 2 layers right now. Now that I've got to write layer number 3 where Spike puts the glass down and it's empty. So one more time, I'm going to keep layer 1. Layer 2 I don't need. I'm going to make that to 0 opacity. Now we have to come back to this, only we want the juice to be gone. So I come back over, right-hand corner, layer number 3. I go to layer number 1, and I'm going to make that very light. Click back into layer 3. Layer 3 is blue, so now I know I'm in layer 3. I go to my pencil tool. I draw the ear. I make the rest of the circle, which is his face. I make the other ear. I copy one eye. The other eye. Oh, those are kind of scary. Looks like kind of something you'd see in a horror movie. Let's make that a little bit better. As a matter of fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can make that better. Yeah, okay, there we go. Make the eye, there we go, that's better. Make the smile. Copy the hair. Let's go down a little bit. Do the body. Do our glass. Oops, don't like that. So I don't like how I missed that line. So I'm going to go to my undo button. There, undo is gone. I can do it again. Then do the other foot. Okay, now I have to do the color. Now, if I want to get the color right, exactly, I can look on your left-hand side. You can see what looks to be like a little dropper. I click the dropper and I click this and I get the same color. Okay, then I go to my buckets, do that. White. Color his face, color his ear. Now I have 3 layers. Let me show you all 3. This is layer 3. Here is layer 2. And here is layer 1. So I've got all 3 of them right now. So I've done all 3. I've done all 3 of my layers. Now, what I want to do now is to save each layer. So first, I'm going to turn the opacity of layer 3 to 0, the opacity of layer 2 to 0, and I've got layer number 1, okay? So layer number 1 is at 100%. So now I'm going to save this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back up to File, and I click Save As, and I click Save As, and it will come up here with this. Now I'm going to save it. First thing you have to do, you have to decide what is the title, because you can want to be able to find it. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to call this, I'm going to erase all of this, and I'm going to call it Drink 1. Okay, I'm going to call it Juice 1. Juice 1. And then I have to decide where I'm going to put it. You can see it says where. I'm going to save it on my desktop so I can find it. So I come down to desktop and I click that. It says desktop. You can put it anywhere you want to. And now format. Format, if you're going to make a GIF or GIF, many formats are okay. I like to use JPEG. It's easy for me. I like JPEGs, but Photoshop is okay too. I like to use JPEG. So I'm going to click JPEG. Okay, so I've got all of this right here. Now I click Save, and I click OK, and that has been saved on my desktop. Okay, now I'm going to go to layer 1. Layer 1 is finished, so I'm going to turn the opacity to 0, and I'm going to go to layer 2 now, and I'm going to turn the layer 2 opacity to 100%. I want to save this, so I repeat the same procedure for saving. Click File, Save As, erase the Save As area, type Juice 2. This is my second one, Juice 2. Desktop has been kept. I don't have to do anything there. And I type as a JPEG. That's it. There we go. I save, and then I click OK, and I'm 2 for 2. Okay, now we're going to go to number 2, opacity. Turn the opacity to 0. Click layer 3. Turn that opacity to 100. We've got our third illustration. Go back to File and save again. File, save as area. We erase. We're going to write juice 3. Desktop is okay. Photoshop, we want to change to JPEG. And then we click save. And then okay. And we've done that. Okay. So that's the first step right there. So that's the first step. Now I'll show you how to put these illustrations into a GIF. Thank you very much. See you soon. Okay, thank you. Welcome back. Now we're going to take our 3 illustrations that we made and make a GIF. And this is very, very easy. I know if you're not good at computers like me, when somebody says something is easy with computers, you're probably skeptical. I promise you this is not difficult. If I can do it, pretty much anybody can do it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we have to find a GIF maker. So now this is the GIF maker I use. It says easygif.com. And again, I'm not sure if it's GIF or GIF. I've heard both are okay. Anyway, if you need a GIF maker, all you have to do is to type GIF space maker into any search engine, and you'll come up with a number of options. These don't cost any money, and they're quite easy to use. So anyway, I'm going to use this, easygif.com. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the far left edge of the screen. It says GIF maker, GIF maker. I click that, okay? Now, what I have is this. It says animated GIF maker, upload images, select images. I come to this part that says choose files, and I click this. Now, my files were put on my desktop, and I put them in a file called demo. These are the images that we used before, okay? And these are the images that we're going to use. So I click on each one of them. I click on this one. I'm going to use my shift bar, and I'm going to use the down key and put all 3 of them and then upload them. So now you can see it's very small. I'm circling it with my mouse now. It says choose files. You'll see there are 3 files. Okay. Now I come down to the upload and make a GIF button, blue background with white wording, and I click that. Okay, and I now have 3 of these. I have 3 of these like this. Now, if I want to reorder them, I can do that. Okay, and if I want to copy them, I can do that. So, but for the sake of simplicity, we're going to leave it like this. We're going to leave it like this. So I'm going to go down to the blue background, white lettering, make a GIF button, and I click that. And I now have a GIF. Now, this is really fast. Okay, this is really fast. This is how I drink Diet Coke at about this speed. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to this. I'm going to come back up to these three top illustrations that we made, and you can see under each illustration it says delay with a number. So right now these are delaying about 1/4 of a second. They're very, very fast. If I want to make the actions slower, if I want each frame to freeze a little bit longer, I increase the number. The bigger the number, the slower the action. So for example, I'm going to type in 100 for each one. Okay, I'm going to type in 100 for each one, and you'll see how slow that is. Okay, and then I click make a GIF. Now watch. See how much slower that is. Okay, now that's too slow, but I do like the last slide with him holding the empty glass to be a little bit longer because it adds some finality. So I'm going to make illustration number 1 and number 2 a bit faster. 20 is too fast, but I'm going to make each one 50. I'm going to make each one 50 and leave delay at 100. So illustration number 1 is at 50, illustration number 2 is at 50, illustration number 3 is at 100. We go down to make a GIF. Yeah, I like that. It's a little bit better, adds a little bit of finality to it. Okay, now I want to save my GIF. So what I do, look down at the bottom right-hand edge of the screen, okay? You'll see I'm clicking it with my mouse. You'll see it in yellow. It says save. I click save, and you can see a little rocket thing. I'm going to save one more so you can see it. Okay, please watch. 3, 2, 1, lift off. Okay, that's your download. Those are your download buttons. You come back up to your downloads and you click. You'll see there are 2 of them. You'll see there are 2 of them right here. They're the same ones because I've saved 2 of them. I want to save these to my desktop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag one of them here. And it says, as you can see right here on my screen, it says easy.com GIF maker GIF. Now, that's the generic name it gives to all your GIFs. So I put it there, and because I make many GIFs, I get this. An older item with the same name already exists in this location. Do you want to replace it, or do you want to keep both of them? Keep both. You'll have both. If you stop, you don't save it. Replace, the previous GIF will be replaced. I'm going to keep both. Now watch, where I dragged it, it will reappear. Please watch down here. I click both, and there it is. It's still right here. And you can see by the image that it is the juice one that we were working on. So I'm going to right click it, rename, and I'm going to call it juice. And I now have, I misspelled juice. Okay, we've got one too many I's. Okay. Okay, juice. So now there's my GIF, and I can use it any way that I want to. Okay, so that's a very simple way. That's a very, very simple way to make a GIF. Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on now to using Doodly and how to make simple videos. See you in a minute. Thanks.